Hello, Tanya here to walk you through the strapless convertible bottom pattern. I'm very excited about this launch because there are so many ways that you can wear this specific pattern that does not require a bunch of pattern modification at the first step. It's a 5-in-1 outfit while you're wearing it. So you could essentially wear it as a strapless one piece. You could fold it over and have it be a high-waisted bottom. You can fold it over a little bit more, have more of your tummy exposed, and then you can fold it all the way down and wear it like a mini skirt. My only note here, depending on the ratio of your bust to hip, you may need to either add a little less negative ease. So instead of doing, let's say, for example, 15% negative ease, you would dial it back to potentially 8. That is the case with me. For example, I have a small bust but a large hip, so I just need to play with that a bit more because you need to make sure that the top stays up on your small bust, but if you want to fold it over to be a mini skirt, it needs to be big enough to fit the hips. My hips are around 102 centimeters and my bust is 82 centimeters, so you can see there's a mismatch there. Anyways, let's hop into it. As usual with all the new tools that are being rolled out, we have our custom profiles here, and then we have our size envelopes. So we added the girls 2 to 20 sizes, which is very exciting, and I'll be updating all the tools with not only with these ASTM size tables that work directly into the tool, but I will be adding more size envelopes as well. So there'll be lots of options to play with. The world is really your oyster because you can create, let's see, there are 20 sizes in curvy, 20 sizes in straight, 2, 4, 6, 60 different sizes, one tool. Plus your custom measurements. So whatever your heart desires, you can literally draft for anyone. Okay, let's go with Missy Curvy. I like doing a Missy Curvy size 6. I'm going to keep it in centimeters. We're going to do straight line coverage because this is a swimsuit. Let's have a little cheeky moment here. And then all of my other measurements are updated here. And then as with the one piece, we can adjust the leg hole height. So if we want the leg hole to sit, okay, there needs to be a photo here, but if we want the leg hole to sit higher or lower to our hip line, we would adjust that. So 0%, it's going to be at the highest point, and then 100%, it's going to be sitting at the hip line. I'm going to show you that in a sec. And then we have armhole side seam length. So essentially that is the distance between your arm side and your bust line. So if you set this to 0, your strapless is gonna sit kind of midway on your bust line, which you don't really want. This is the apex of the bust. So I have the standard set in, but actually I set it so you can't go that low. So you can play with it and see how low you want to put it, but I think the default settings are pretty good. There isn't much customization needed in this tool, to be honest, but except for the coverage for the leg hole. Okay, so let me just put in points since we're drafting in centimeters, and let's say I'm going to go with an 8%. Let me show you how it works straight out the box. So this is what we're looking at straight out the box. And as you've seen in our other tools, we have different seam allowance for the main seam allowance and for the arm leg hole seam allowance if you want to do a binding. So let's say we set that to 0. I'll show you what that looks like. So we have no seam allowance here, so you could do a binding around the neckline and then binding on the leg holes. Let's play around with, I'm going to set this back to 0.6. Let's play around with the leg hole height as I was mentioning before. So we're going to put it at 100 and we're going to see the difference here. And as always, I'm working in Chrome. So the tools perform best in Chrome. And you can see that I'm resubmitting the form over and over again with my changes, and I'm able to download different variations live. So I can literally create all the different variations and see what the result is and play with it in the browser. I would like it to be, I've gotten this request before of having a live update. The technology scope is a bit above my head for that one, but maybe in the future. Right now, this is the workflow. So you can see that the leg hole is at the leg hole starts at the hip line. So that's really going to be max coverage. It's going to look very conservative, but it's great depending on what the purpose of the garment is. If you do want to be a bit more conservative at the beach, or if you're creating a dance costume and you really want it to stick, and you don't want any cheeky moments on stage. But there are moments for cheeky moments on stage, but it depends who you're drafting for. Okay, let me show you with the full contour coverage. Submitting measurements here. Full contour coverage there. Let's set the leg hole to 0%. So you can, I think it's the default with the tool. It's funny, I just created the tool, so I should know, but the default I think is at 0. So we can see how high that hip line is. And then let's go with a 50%. And then we're going to submit that. So 50%, we're kind of in a little middle ground. I'm going to dial it back to show you how we can adjust this, the armhole side seam length. So let's put that at 0. So as we can see, that's really low. And we want to make sure that we're anchoring on top of our bust. But listen, I'm giving you guys the options to customize and work it however you want to work it. So depending on what your costume is or your swimwear idea, maybe you do want to go a little lower because you're adding straps, making it very strappy. So for example, that's not something that we would need to include in the pattern. You're just adding straps wherever. So I think that is all of the adjustments that you can do. Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to use this tool. I really want to see the swimwear designs that you come up with, and if you bring them to the beach or if you showcase this pattern on stage during a dance performance, as always, please share. All right, thanks.